Okay, beginning of December and it's Saturday, which means lots and lots of Christmas shoppers. In fact, it's going absolutely mad in my town, almost shoulder to shoulder. And when that happens, you get your proselytizers coming out in force because there's all the more people to convert. And they need converting because they're so wrapped up in their consumerism. Oh gosh, I've seen Pastor Steve, I've seen the healers, I've seen miscellaneous. I like talking to the miscellaneous because you never know what church they're from or what they believe. And I'm always curious as to what that's all about. Where are they from and what do they believe? And why do they think we need it as well? Oh, hi.
Jesus.
That is a very small little tract, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're not from the Plymouth Brethren, are you? Because they have these little white tracts.
No, community church.
Oh, are you Pentecostals or?
Evangelical.
Yeah.
Came out of the charismatic renewal.
Are you with the healers over there?
Yeah, I am. That's what it's all about.
Oh,
yeah.
right, okay. Do you think that really works, though?
Yeah. I've, about 4 weeks ago, I was in India. I go quite regularly, and I see crazy things being, tumors disappear, that kind of stuff. Really, demonic deliverances as well, you see that as well. But
you see tumors disappear before your eyes?
I've never seen that. Within 2 days, there's one lady came and she couldn't move her hand. She had an accident or a stroke or something.
Yeah.
I asked her to come, Holy Spirit come. She fell down under the Spirit, and when she woke up, she was totally healed. When she came back about 2 minutes later,
yeah,
she was totally healed. But that kind of stuff, and pains in the knees and that. But the first time I went, about 10 years ago, I prayed for a guy, not this time, last time I think it was. It's in a Hindu village. I go into very rural areas, and this guy came, and I said, what am I praying for, through the translator?
Yeah.
He said he's got TB. So I just prayed, okay, how do you feel? Oh, he feels better. I discovered 2 days later that he'd been vomiting blood every day. The medical people had given up. He was a Hindu. The Christian people said, well, why don't you come to the meeting tonight? He came along, I prayed for him. That night he was totally healed. His whole family added Jesus to their list.
Are you absolutely sure he's totally healed?
Yeah. I've got testimonies and things like that.
I mean, do you have a testimony from a doctor, though?
No, but... Yeah, no, I haven't got that, because over there, well, I got... The first time I prayed for someone with a tumour, and I didn't know I was actually... They just took me to this place.
Yeah.
I got testimony back, basically, and my friend had taken me to pray for this woman, young woman. She had a tumour inside, it was getting bigger, had no money, couldn't go to hospital. I prayed for her, she felt good. I think she said she saw a light, or whatever. She went back to the hospital about 2 weeks later, had another scan, and the tumour had totally gone.
Yeah.
And she felt good from the time I asked Jesus to come and touch her.
Well, she said she felt good.
Yeah, but then within 2 weeks the tumour disappeared. Well, about 2 weeks later they did a scan, because they wanted to check. I think it was probably on response to my Christian friend, and the tumour totally disappeared.
But why would it take 2 days, though? I mean...
I have no idea.
Thinking back to, like, the Gospels and everything, you know, the blind man, he was healed instantly. Other people, you know, Lazarus was rose from the dead. Why would Jesus say, okay, that's good, 2 days and then they'll be healed? Because then you could say, well, perhaps it was going to get better anyway.
Maybe it was. I prayed for people, I've done two really, a little girl, and she'd been deaf and dumb since birth. She was about, I don't know, 7 or 8. She came up, I can't speak Telugu, anyway, she came up and I prayed for her, and then I thought to the guy who was translating for me, get her to say something in Telugu. So he addressed her and she started talking, and I'm thinking, what's going on here? And she didn't start talking, he asked her to repeat a word, which she butchered initially, I think, and then after a bit she was copying what he was saying.
Yeah.
And she wasn't looking, we do it so she doesn't look at him, so she has to hear it, because she was deaf and dumb. And I'm thinking, I wonder what's going on. But behind her, because I'm tall, she was quite short, behind her was her mum. And her mum was watching me and watching the girl. And after the girl started making the noises, the mum started crying. And the mum is crying her eyes out because her daughter is suddenly hearing and talking. And in rural India, to be deaf and dumb means it's not a good place to be when you're a young lady, because you don't get married and all this stuff.
Why do you think God allows that? Like in non-Christian countries, he seems to, from what you're saying, it seems to be saying he allows all these really horrible things happen, and to children as well.
It's where it happens over here too, you just don't see it in the same way.
Yeah, but why would he allow that at all? Is it just so that things like this, what you do, can prove his existence?
I mean, you can't, well, you obviously know quite a lot about this stuff, but I think it all goes back to really Adam or Eve, and the willingness to allow the enemy to come into agreement with the enemy and to give authority to the enemy. And over the generations, there's been a corruption of our DNA, and through that corruption, sickness comes in. But through Jesus and through the sacrifice of Jesus, as you know, Jesus died on that cross to bring wholeness and healing to all his creation, all of his creation. And it's not just salvation, it's the ability to walk in the fullness of what Jesus walked in. But we haven't really got hold of what that means yet.
Yeah.
But we're getting there.
You don't think it's like a really complicated way to actually create a world? You know, the tree in the garden, the knowledge of good and evil, and don't touch that fruit, and then Eve touches that fruit, and then you're gonna get tornadoes, you're gonna get earthquakes, you're gonna get toe fungus, whatever, from now on.
I don't know. I really, to be honest, I didn't really know. I can understand why, to a certain extent, why there's a tree, because he gave us free will. And free will is only free will if we have an option, I guess. That kind of idea. But what goes on? But then you've got the whole thing beforehand, where
is it free will though?
Where the angels kind of rebelled.
Yeah.
And so he cast them out.
They obviously had free will up there in heaven, didn't they?
Yeah.
That's why they rebelled.
Yeah, that's right. You gave them the right to do that.
Yeah. So when we go to heaven one day, I guess we'll have free will again.
I guess so.
So could we sin in heaven?
I don't know.
I've always wondered about it.
Yeah, I don't know. Some things I leave for later.
Yeah. Okay. It's just, as you probably guessed, I was brought up Christian, and my mum tells me all these things, and I just don't understand all of it.
No.
I think about it a lot, and sometimes I think it just sounds like how early human beings tried to explain the world. Why is there suffering?
Yeah. Although, but it's not. Yeah, we do try, but there is a. I don't know really how. Okay, when we become Christians, when we give our lives to Jesus, the Bible tells us that the Holy Spirit comes to live within us. So God, the Holy Spirit, Father God, they come and live within us. And there's a sense that, Jesus said to Nicodemus, doesn't he? He says you have to be born again by the Spirit.
Yeah.
To see God, or to encounter God. It depends. That encounter and that the new creation idea, being a new creation through the Holy Spirit, is something which most of us don't really get. The fact that we are spiritual beings, like prayer of healing and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But because we're spiritual beings, we can encounter God. We can.
If we're spiritual beings, why did he make us physical beings?
So we could. What's the word? So that we could express our authority over a physical world.
The physical world involves a lot of pain and suffering, and I know you would say that, well, we did that, we brought that on ourselves.
Yeah.
But he would have known that ahead of time.
Well, he did. That's why he sent Jesus, and he's going to wrap the whole lot up eventually. That's
So, I mean,
idea.
you're a bit older than me, sir. You're over 40, aren't you? So, so you've been believing this your whole life? I mean, not your whole life?
No, I got saved when I was 30. And I only got saved because basically my wife gave her life to Jesus,
Yeah.
and she changed. She didn't witness to me anything. She just changed. The way she behaved, the way she responded to situations, and I said, well, you're different. No, I'm not. You're different. No, I'm not.
Well, does that happen to most people that take on a religion, though?
And this went on for a while. Well, this went on for a while, and in the end, she sort of admitted that something had happened. And the reason she was very reluctant to tell me about it early on was she knew that I would be very resistant to it, and I would be negative. So she didn't want to sort of confront me in that area. Basically, when she told me what was going on, she gave me a book, which was just a testimony really of someone's life. And I read it because I was fascinated by what was going on in her life, so I read it. And all I can say is that at a certain point, and I don't quite know at what point, during the reading of that testimony, something inside here changed.
In your chest?
In my spirit, I don't know what it is, my belief, I don't know what you call it, but from a position where I thought it was all a hoax, a way of just controlling mankind, controlling people.
Yeah.
And I genuinely believe that. I realised that there was a God, and that He was my creator, that He loved me. A lot of this I probably didn't really understand. And when I thought about the way I'd lived my life, I thought, well, I haven't done that well, so let's give Him a chance. So that's how I started.
What do you say when, like, for instance, somebody discovers Mormonism, which is a form of Christianity, and their lives change? Because I've heard those testimonies as well. Or a non-Christian religion.
I don't know. All I can do is testify to what I've experienced, what I've witnessed, and what I know. If other people walk other paths, then that's their choice. That's free will.
Yeah.
And I'm not out to beat people up or do the rest of it. All I can do, in true honesty, is just talk about what I've experienced. Maybe pray for people, maybe bring deliverance. I mean, I'm actually involved in quite an amazing healing deliverance ministry. Where I just see people's lives just transformed, changed in front of us. We do that kind of stuff. But for others, well...
All right. I mean, you're here healing today. I mean, if somebody came along who was a paraplegic, they're in a wheelchair, barely lift their head, and the person with them said, can you please put your hand up, what do you think would happen?
That's a challenging question.
Because it could happen.
I pray for a few.
It could happen. It's bound to happen.
I pray for a few. In this country, and I've not, being really honest with you, I've not seen amazing things. About my second or third trip in India, where I've been going for about 10, 11 years now. I prayed for a guy who'd had a stroke, and down this side he was paralysed. He was doing all this.
Yeah. Like a walk a bit. Yeah.
He could move around a bit, but much. But his arm was paralysed, and he could just about move on the side of his face. I prayed for him the previous time I went there, and nothing happened. This time I went, he walked in and asked for prayer. So I prayed for him. You know, it's the way you do. And he looked at me, and he waved his hand, and then he just did this.
Yeah.
Walked
around you.
And I'm going, and all the other Indians who were with me were just looking at it. And I'm sort of quietly freaking out, thinking, woo! And they're just saying, like this. And I said, so I said to my friend, he couldn't do this before, could he? No. He's healed, isn't he? Yeah.
Okay. I would say it's probably adrenaline, or he probably could do that already.
No, he couldn't.
I would look at those answers first rather than accepting the miracle.
Okay.
But you could be
now,
right.
that triggers something else, because on my previous trip when I prayed for him and nothing happened, I'd also, another thing, and I saw this. Took me to pray for a lady. She was probably in her late teens, and from the waist down she was paralysed. Her legs were about that round.
Or like a pole.
Yeah. And they brought her to the church on the back of a bike. So they tie the legs up in a cross, but then tied up. So they could sit her on the back of the bike.
Yeah.
To bring her to church. So I went to that church. It was a shed. So I went to that shed and we prayed for lots of people. And then I noticed that there were two ladies who hadn't moved. They were still sitting in the middle of the shed. And I was invited to pray for them. And they were, two ladies had the same thing. When I first prayed, nothing happened. I went back the second time after I'd seen the guy do this. I deliberately said, I want to go and pray for that lady again, because I've been thinking about her for about 4 months since my 2 trips.
Yeah.
I went back and she's sitting on the floor, basically upright with her legs straight out in front of her. And I started praying for her, and now what happened next? I think I invited her to start moving her legs. She had no feeling from the waist down. She started moving her toes. And basically over a period of about 20 minutes or so, she got all the feeling back in her legs. Now they're still this big. And she could do this.
Yeah.
Sitting down, she could move her legs and do stuff like that. But she couldn't really walk because she had nothing there. There were no muscles because she'd never had any. Never moved. I prayed for a couple of times after that, and the last time I prayed for her, she was walking.
Yeah.
She was walking a bit like this, but she was walking. I think over here, she probably would have got all her mobility back because we have physios and all that who would help her develop the muscles. But over there, she was working eventually. She got a job. And that, to me, that was basically a healing miracle.
I just
Because
wonder
she's
why
been like that since birth.
God obviously wants people to be healed, otherwise he wouldn't respond to these healing prayers.
That's what Jesus came for, didn't he?
But he allows all this pain and deformity to happen, and then waits for somebody like you to come along and heal them. So why doesn't he cut out the middleman?
Because essentially he's given us free will. And through the generations, mankind's got into the mess it's got in. It's not his will. And you could say he allows it, and in one sense that's probably true. But it's not his desire and it's not his heart that people should suffer. But having given us free will,
well, free will sort of implies that he's letting us do what we want and not interfering. He's just sitting back. But if he's answering prayers and healing people, that's sort of like breaking the rules a bit, isn't it?
No, because it's his. No, it's not breaking the rules, because if under our free will we are willing to agree or accept the fact that Jesus died for us, and there is a God who loves us, and his heart is to bring healing, then we're coming into agreement with him. So free will, we're submitting to his will, yeah?
Yeah.
So
Seems a lot to keep juggling in your head.
Well, I don't know. It's a walk I'm on, and I can keep walking. And,
have you approached that guy behind us who's playing the accordion?
No, I haven't. He is crippled because he's got 2 crutches, but I haven't approached him now.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. That's very interesting. I'll go away and think about it. You know, it's like I have a lot of questions, obviously. So.
Yeah. I mean, I've still got a lot. There's lots of things that happen that I don't understand.
Yeah.
I mean, some people I pray for and nothing happens. So, finished.
Okay. Thank you so much.
God bless.
All right. Yes, our friends the healers, who seem to appear every Saturday now. And they have lots of stories about people who are blind and see again, and were lame and walked again. And funny when I said, did you actually get a doctor to verify this? And he was like, no. But I have a feeling that happens quite a bit. I really don't think it's right to give people false hope like that. And behind us the whole time, there was a guy who was obviously, he couldn't walk, and he was playing the accordion.
trying to get some donations to help him. And I said, have you prayed for that guy? He said, nope. No, it didn't even occur. Because they want passers-by who are fairly able-bodied and therefore able to pass by to say, oh, I've got an aching back or an aching head or whatever. And then, of course, we'll say, oh, yeah, I feel better now. I've seen this happen. And then the ones who will really feel good are the healers, because they're thinking, aha, look what I did. God's working through me. I really don't know what they think they're doing. But it certainly isn't saving mankind, that's for sure.